Welcome to another episode of the Headlight Restoration Pro. Well, I'll be working on this vehicle here, a 2008 Honda Pilot, and showing you how to turn them into something like this.
Wow.
OEM headlights.
Perfect.
Also, we'll be touching bases on why not to buy aftermarket headlights if possible, and to buy OEM headlights, or to refurbish your headlights and restore your headlights. It's worth it. Give me a chance to let you know why. Okay, let's get down to business. This is a 2008 Honda Pilot, a really nice vehicle, a really good-looking headlight. As you see here, I'm starting off taping this time. So anytime you want to, you always want to use at least a minimum of 2 layers of tape all the way around the headlight, where the headlight meets the body of the vehicle. You want it to kind of scissor in between. You want it to overlap. You want to do an overlapping. You don't want to just put straight pieces or have any bare pieces there, because the propensity or the likelihood of you messing up somebody's vehicle is very high. They come back or they call you a week later and like, hey man, you did my headlights and it's all scratched up all around there. Why? Because you weren't professional. Why? You didn't do a proper tape off, ladies and gentlemen. It must be a proper tape off. I see a lot of guys just flaring around. Some guys don't even tape, and it's just like you're just asking to mess up somebody's vehicle. It's going to happen. Even if you're hand sanding it, you can have a little more control. You should always respect the customer's vehicle. Don't try to get out of there real quick. Don't try to just do a quick 10-minute 15-minute headlight restoration and cut time and corners by not taping, because it's a liability. If you don't know how to fix those scratches, and I do scratch removal, and I have fixed these problems from customers trying to do their own headlights, or other companies trying to do their headlights, and they made all these scratches, so they called me to fix them as well. But anyways, it's probably the most important part of the process, and it also helps not getting sealer of any kind on the paint that you can't get off, which is a problem once it dries. Some people are real meticulous about their vehicle. Some people are taking pictures before you do the vehicle, and they're inspecting it and they're doing all that, waiting for you to mess up. They don't trust you at this point yet. It's the first time they dealt with you, and it's expectable. It's commendable. I would do it with my vehicle, with anybody that I deal with or whatever. If you physically leave something behind that's not supposed to be there, you're liable to take care of it by law, and just common decency. And if you're trying to run a business, you definitely want to protect yourself. You want to protect your customer at all times, because you don't want to get that out. All it takes is one. Oh my God, he came out, he didn't even tape off correctly, and there was holes there, and he had 2 pieces of tape on the vehicle, and all my under my light is all scratched up, and then if you want to do right, you gotta pay for somebody to fix it, if you don't know how. I do. But on a lot of the areas, like I was saying there, you have to on the hard areas, or the areas that you think your sandpaper is going to be touching, you have to tape off more, just as a safety precaution. Sometimes I do 3 and 4 layers on those areas. I feel that the the sandpaper might slip off the headlight, which it does all the time, or it might grind too hard. Even if I'm doing hand sanding, I might overshoot it and hit certain areas because the way the light is shaped. You really have to pay attention to the trajectory of some lights and think about, if I push my hand sander this way, if I push my drill this way, what's going to happen? It's going to flare off this way, or it's going to flare off that way, and tape those off. And you see there, I'm using my credit card there. Obviously, it's an old, beat up, never, not active credit card or whatnot. So scammers, please go ahead and feel free to screenshot those spots and, give me all that time trying to see if, you can get something out this credit card. Be my guest. Yeah, just kind of like, you use a credit card slide, like before they had chips, you just slide it right through there. It works perfect. It's the perfect tool for this. But what I also do is just the main focus is all the way around the light where the light butts up and meets the body. But I also do a minimum of 3 inches away from the light. Why? Is because I am using a spray coating. There is going to be overspray always when you're using a spray coating. There's usually, you can always count on overspray when you're doing a wipe. Not as much as a spray, but a spray you should account for at least 1 inch of overspray, no matter how good you are. There's always, if you're gonna spray the edges of this light or any light properly, you are going to have a minimum of 1 inch overspray. So what I do is I overlap the tape and I bring it out. You can't see it really too much here, but bring it out about 3 inches. But this is my mask here. This is one of my masks with the pink cartridges that I use for my sanding. This is something you guys don't see. I also have another mask with a waffle pattern, and it is a different 3M mask, and I use it primarily for the coating because the silicone vapor of the coating is very strong. You breathe it in once and you'll know you don't want to do that no more, and you can definitely develop health problems really fast with that silicone spray, faster than even this dusting right here, or this dust. The silicone spray will really mess you up. The Meguiars spray or any kind of spray will really mess you up. That's one downfall of the spray. It's bleaches or leaches out and vapors out more, more aroma, more particles, more everything. So, you want to protect yourself. Always wear, your PPE, your protective gear. But anyways, starting here with that P500, like I said, you see how nice and easy this is milking up. This is a light that has not been restored before. A lot of the sealer is dead, dying, or gone. So it's coming off really good. And you want to milk it until you see this here? This is what I call that yellow cake dust. It's yellow. Check this out. It's yellow. You want to milk it until, it starts running clear. Not clear, excuse me, but starts running white. That's how you know the light is clear again. You got to get all that yellowness out of there. And there's only one way to actually remove the yellowness, and that is to remove it. If you don't remove it, where is it? That's one of my favorite things. People say, oh, I use this wipe and it turns it this color, or I put orange juice on it and it turns it white. WD-4. I always tell everybody, and it really picks their brain, if you don't remove it, then where is it at? At the same place it always was, right? It's still there. Exactly. And then that's why it comes back so quick when people have these gimmicks and stuff too. One of the reasons, shall I say. And if you don't do a proper headlight restoration and you don't meet your depths, it's going to come back faster as well. The yellowing will come back faster as well. That's why you want to do a proper job, and you want to know what you're doing, and you want to hit your depths when you're sanding here. It only, you're only removing maybe a quarter thickness of a piece of paper. Okay, it's most lights. Some lights have extra sealant or goo on it, or have been done before people, and 2K clear. Those are different scenarios. Okay, when you're just having a basic headlight like this, that is just needs restoration. It has never had restoration. I believe this is 2008, so this is a considerably older vehicle, even though it's in perfect shape. Besides the headlights, you just need to hit those depths, and you see how it's running white there. That's how you know. That's one of the main reasons that's one of the beauties of dry sanding. You can see everything. When you're wet sanding, it's just a bunch of almost like mud everywhere, a bunch of mud all over the headlight. You really have a hard time, and the headlight's white, or wet. So it looks different. You can't really tell. It's very difficult to tell when you're wet sanding if you met your depth. That's why a lot of wet sanders or wet sanding headlight restorations, they have little tinges to them, or they still have a little yellow to them, or they're not achieving the clarity that they could be achieving because they're doing a full wet sand. I use wet sand in one part of my headlight restorations, but it's, you know, it's at the end and it's very minute, and it's just to do the fine polishing. But anyways, see that you want to always get this top edge real good, and you want to blend everything in. And you see, if you really pay attention, I know you're listening to my words as I speak, but really pay attention to my movement, pay attention to those striations on the light, and pay attention to how soft you think I am touching this light, how much gentle pressure that I am using to apply to this light. It's very light. It's pretty much the weight of the drill, and sometimes even less. Sometimes I'm kind of just laying it on there, very gentle. Now that we got all that off, I'm going to start with the P800 here, and this is one of the fine tuning pads. This is, you know, a lot of people are like, oh my god, how does it go from, you know, 800 to 3000 and this, and that's one of my favorite topics that people just can't believe. If they have a little bit of knowledge of sanding, a little bit of knowledge of headlights, a lot of people are like, oh my god, I go from 800 to 900 to 10, you know, to 1000 to 1200 to 1500, and it's like, damn, you spent like, you know, $300 on a headlight restoration that, you know should not cost you that much. You know, it's obsolete. It's obsolete. You don't need that many variations in between. Look at that. I hate when that happens. That's, you know, sometimes the pad or the disc catches in between the headlight and rips off. It sucks. But, yeah, you got to watch for that. That's why you move slow and, you know, just, you know, follow suit. And what you see here is, as you notice, I go over every part of the headlight multiple times. I don't just stay in one area. I just don't stay in one area. I'm going really smooth and focusing on how steady and how flush the end of that pad or the end of that disc is to the light. It's about steadiness and finesse, not about strength. I'm pretty strong, but I don't use none of that stuff really for headlight restoration. And using the same 800 grit pad, you see there, I use my little gimbal and my 800 grit pad and my spacer there. My interface pad, it's like a pillow. It helps seat everything on those corners and whatnot. And you're doing a shearing motion here. Even with this, I'm not applying pressure, if you can tell. I'm just pretty much laying it on top of it and just moving it. If you could tell by the looseness of my hand, I'm just kind of finessing it, and that's just to, like I said, knock down any little residual swirls that might be left or whatnot, and it really helps with the clarity of the headlight, and it really helps make sure you can't see you know, any left behind swirls or whatever from the rotation of the drill. But let's get into this. I had a guy who just recently, you know, I have all kind of people from all around the world. This is a global channel, and I converse with people, good people from all around the world in different parts of America and the UK and Africa and all kind of places. And it's amazing that, you know, through this platform that I can reach so far. But anyways, I just got a guy who was like, well, he asked me a question in the DMs, why not just buy new ones, right? I'm like, oh my god, here we go. This is actually a really good topic that I'm going to put on my next video. Okay, just a quick break real quick. That is the P3000. That is the magic pad with some regular water, tap water. But anyhow, he says, why not just buy new ones? So I tell him, if you're rich, you can go ahead. But anyways, and he's also, you know, replied, well, I just bought, you know, new headlights for my vehicle for $76. Okay, like, you're gonna be buying those like twice a year. maybe every year. So it's like if you want to buy and put in and install headlights yourself every year, because they are non OEM, they are aftermarket headlights. Okay. Aftermarket headlights are, it is a real, it's real scamish. Aftermarket headlights is just, it's not the thing to buy for your vehicle. Some things you get away with aftermarket, like an aftermarket steering wheel, or aftermarket, I don't know, spark plug, or aftermarket tire or something. But a headlight doesn't work. I have so many people that come, and it starts peeling. The UV protectant starts peeling off in months, if not weeks. I've had multiple people, even this year, with these issues, and have multiple people that came to me and was like, I still have my headlights because I tried to put in these aftermarkets 3 months ago, and three of the bulbs won't work on one, and the other one just won't turn on completely, and I got a ticket. This is a real scenario. Can you do my headlights? I have my old ones out in the box. If I put them back in, can you, I didn't know headlight restoration was a thing. So it's apparent. This is multiple people that are coming with me with this kind of scenario, that OEMs are terrible. OEMs are the way to go. The non OEMs, the aftermarkets, are terrible. Okay, when you can buy the OEM, like this light is OEM. If you buy, they don't look the same. They don't look as good, and they're really cheap. They're kind of like made in Taiwan type deal. Probably made in some place that just is not following the standards that the company or the car manufacturer follows, which is very important for a safety feature on your vehicle. That's like trying to get a bargain discount airbag. It just doesn't make no sense. This is a really important part of the vehicle. If you ever tend to drive at night or in a stormy weather or whatever, you need good headlights. But anyhow, these the difference between them is, what allures people is like, oh, I'll just buy a headlight, because some people just don't know, and some people know, and they're just like, I don't care. I don't know why they wouldn't, but they would buy these lights. They'll be like, oh, they're $80. There's 180 for two of them, right? But the real headlight, OEM headlight, is probably $500, $400, or something like that, for a reason. Okay, but believe it or not, aftermarket headlights will cost you more drama, more issues with your headlights, all kind of stuff. Shorting out, you'll have to replace them 2 or 3 times, probably in 3 or 4 years. But if you don't believe me, let's pause this for a minute and check this out. Okay, let's find out about these lights and find out how much they really cost, and how much the difference is between these lights. Okay, like I said, this is a 2008 Honda Pilot that we're working on. This is probably one of the best looking Honda Pilot lights there is. The other ones aren't as attractive as these. But let's see. Okay, so here we go. We have some that are $80 a piece, $130 for the pair. You have stuff like this, $140 for one, $140 for the pair, something like that. These are what they call aftermarket headlights, ladies and gentlemen. These are the headlights I'm speaking of. Those aren't worth a pea in the bucket. Now let's type in factory OEM, as you said there. Now you see how inexpensive those are? Now here, we're going to a Honda website, Honda parts, okay? And we're going to type in the year here. We're going to type in all the information of the vehicle and see how much the headlights actually are. These aftermarket headlights will fall apart on you really fast. If you plan to have your car more than a year or two, they're going to fall apart on you probably in less than a year, or in a year. They're notorious for it. But look at this. You see that right there? That's $334.18 a piece for each side, per side. And if you don't know how to put them in, you're going to be paying somebody probably about $300 to install them. Now look at that. The normal price of these is $508.19 MSRP. These are discounted or on sale because the car is older, so the prices drop down sometimes. So $334.18 a piece is what the current, which is today, which I'm looking this up here. Bear with me here. Going back in here, I'm doing this on my phone, so bear with me. So now we're going to type in something that we need to know. Let me explain. This is on Google. Are OEM headlights better than aftermarket? It says here, aftermarket headlights usually cost more money than OEM headlights in the long run. Key point: in the long run. It's because aftermarket headlights don't last as long as OEM ones. If they fail, it's likely that you'll have to buy a whole new one or set. Headlight assembly, a new whole headlight assembly. Aftermarket headlights rarely come under warranty, while OEMs do. There it is. Well, there you have it. Plain and simple. Like I said, you can get away with it with some parts of the vehicle, but it's still, it'll never be as good. That's why it's so much cheaper. It's just not recommended, especially for these. I would never recommend them. I recommend against them. But anyways, see how clear and visible it is, and that you're looking up close on it, you can't see any scratches or nicks or smears or anything weird like that. This is one of the steps that you want to really check to see if there's anything wrong with the light. If you see any scratches, any clarity issues, any smudges, anything, and then you want to handle it before you get to shooting your final step on there. See, right now here, I'm not satisfied with this area here. I see a little bit of unclarity, a little bit of I don't know if you guys, your eye can see it. My eye's trained. It's a little hard to see on here, but I can see it when I'm there. A little clarity issue, a couple little nicks, a little, swirl scratches or whatever, just in this area that I'm going over. So, you can always, go over any little area like this and just pick right back up the step that you left off on. It's up to you to determine whether you're going to have to go back to a heavier grit or not. But these were very minute, and I probably could have got away without doing this, and you would never see them, or they would never notice. But I noticed, and that's how you do good work, and that's how you do good business, and that's how you come up with a perfect product 99% of the times, because you want to you want to do your best. And I feel like it would not be my best if I just let it slide, even though the customer would be 100% satisfied with it, and nobody would ever know but you. It's not good business, and it's not a good practice or mindset to be in. You want to take care of the people that take care of you. One of those old proverbs. But anyways, just like you saw there, I hit it with the 800. And the gimbal, and then I hit it with the water and the P3000 Trizac again, and see what we got now. Hit it with the Windex, and I only had to do one little section that was bothering me. All the other sections looked fine to me. Now, checking it out now. That's what I'm doing now. Now we're going to hit it again. It's looking good again at this point. Going to hit it again with that 3M plastic polish and that buffer. That is my AC Delco, 12 volt, 3-inch polisher, and I'm using the dab method, always the dab method. And I'm just hitting those areas again. And the beauty with this is, if you're hitting the areas that you've already hit before, it doesn't matter. It's good. It could be better, but it's not going to take anything away from anything you've already done. So, I'll obviously overlap and hit the areas that you hit again on that second time around. And, hit the whole line if you need to. But yeah, lights are very expensive. People are always shocked, and before I started doing headlight restoration, I was in awe. I've always kept a nice car. I had this Cadillac DTS, and I had fixed up the engine, the paint, everything was damn near pretty much new. The engine, transmission, the rear end, the rotors, the ball joints, just everything was new. The mounts, the motor mounts, just everything. Interior, everything was done. And the last thing I wanted to do was to fix the headlights. So, this is the story of how the Headlight Restoration Pro got started, and how I got started doing this. And I went to 3 places, and one place is like, "Hey, we don't work on Cadillacs; it's too expensive headlights." And I'm like, "Okay, fuck, what are they, like $100?" And then I went to another place, and they were like, "No, they're too far gone. We can't do nothing." And then I went to the dealer, and they're like, "Oh, they're too far. We can't do nothing, but we can order you some new ones, right?" So they were like, they're $490 a piece, and some change, and it'll take about 3 hours of labor. So it'll be about $400 of labor to put them in. And because we have to take off the bumper, we have to take off the fender wells and the tires just to put them in. And yeah, so it ended up being a $1,200. So I just went out there and started researching and started trying to do stuff to them and different things, and I got so good at it. Other people wanted me to do theirs, and I started practicing on theirs and doing stuff. And then one day I said, let me go ahead and make this a business, or make this a thing. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get back to business here. Yeah, you always want to make sure you have a clean, sterile area. All that stuff you saw me doing, the thumbs up and all that stuff, you want to make sure you have a clean, sterile area always. And you want to be aware of any kind of wind gusts or anybody walking by, because this can bring debris, dust, dog hair, anything. And believe it or not, I've had a lady walk by before with a dog that was shedding, and the wind hit, and all the dog's hair went onto the surface right here. And I had my mask on, and I was telling her, you got to be, stand back because this stuff is toxic. But she wasn't hearing me. She didn't hear me. So I had to stop and take my mask off. When I put my mask back on and she was back further, I said, oh no. And there's dog hair all in the thing. So you really want to be careful on this step for at least about a minute and a half. This stuff in 80-degree heat will dry up, the surface will dry of the spray, which is what you're looking for. The crust will dry in like 30 seconds, 40 seconds in 80-degree heat. So when it's like 100 degrees outside, I mean, literally, it's damn near instant. You got to be quicker with the spray in the summertime. In the wintertime, you got to slow down, or you'll develop drips or runs or something. In the wintertime, you want to slow down. In the summertime, you have to speed up because it's so hot. But primarily, this is a vapor drying substance. It dries from exposure to the air. It kind of bleeds off particles of these clear coat particles and dries in that manner, kind of like super glue. But look at this light. This is a really pretty light. I like these lights. They're pretty big, and they're time consuming. They take a little bit longer to do than others, sometimes a little bit more material, but they come out so awesome because it's just an attractive light, all the stuff they put inside. But look at that. Perfect. Can it possibly get any better? Can it possibly look any better? And the thing is, you cannot see if you can see in, the light can see out. So how well do you think these lights will perform in the winter or in the nighttime or whenever? They're going to shine. And in a lot of cases, this enhances the headlights, enhances the light's capability. But look at the before and the after. Thanks for watching. If you could, drop me a subscription. Feel free to ask questions. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all my subscribers and viewers. Without you, I wouldn't be doing this. This is you guys give me the motivation to keep filming my trade and what I do and my passion. And just stay tuned. They got more coming up soon. Thank you.